The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's actually not true. The enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. He just might be doing something that I'm happy to have happen. In other words, if Iran and Saudi Arabia both went at each other's throats, both of them are our enemies, and neither of them will ever be our friends. So, Dr. Keyes called me, Alan Keyes, who is a dear friend, a brilliant mind, former presidential candidate, PhD, was ambassador for the United States to the UN. He said, Randall, you got to be careful with Donald Trump. I said, all right, fine. I'll go on the air on Monday, and Monday night I'll give an apology, make some clarification. But first, Dr. Keyes and all the rest of you, I still have to admit, I love what Trump is doing. There, I said it. And that's part of what I should have clarified, is that I love that Trump is just throttling the establishment. I despise the Republican establishment, the Karl Roves, Mitch McConnells, John Boehners. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I believe that they're more responsible for the demise of this country than the left-wing Democrats and Obama. And the reason is because they're traitors, like a Benedict Arnold or a Judas. They're in our midst, they're at our table. They sing the songs we sing, but then they betray innocent blood, the blood of the babies. They betray the Constitution by not impeaching these godless judges on the Supreme Court. But I digress. So, Dr. Keyes pointed out, number one, his comments about POWs, I like people who didn't get caught, was actually really detrimental to a lot of POWs who were captured at various points in various wars. And his point was, look, we take the lives of our soldiers seriously. We don't ask our soldiers to throw away their lives. And in rear guard operations, when an army is moving, retreating, whatever, if a rear guard operation is happening and somebody has to be there to face the enemy, and they either get killed or captured by the enemy, that can, if they're captured, that can impact them emotionally, psychologically, for the rest of their lives. So Donald Trump should not in any manner, shape, or form cheapen what they went through, the sacrifice that they went through. And I agree with him. I think that, here's the bottom line. This from me, and this is how I think that Trump could have done. He could have just said, I'm sorry, he is a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. But his leadership on virtually every single thing that matters to this country has been horrendous. So we give him praise for what he did in service to the country, that he didn't take an early release. But after that, he's not our friend. And he's not. So that was number one. Donald Trump really messed up on that one. Number two, Alan said, look, listen to what he's not saying. So I said, he's not saying that God is the one who gives us our rights. He said, exactly. So I know these things, but I've been having so much fun watching him throttle the establishment that I've been a little mute on them. So it's time to be not quite so mute. I did some research this morning on Donald Trump and God, just starting to search. And of course, on the front end, the only thing that comes up are his statements when he was in Iowa that he's a Presbyterian and he used to listen to Norman Vincent Peale preach, and that he takes the wine and the little cracker and he feels cleansed, and he doesn't know if he's ever asked God for forgiveness. These are all alarm bells, okay? These are all alarm bells for anyone who recognizes that God is the one who gives us our rights. God is the ultimate lawgiver. And if we don't see him as such, then we become pretenders to the throne of God. That's what you have with the Supreme Court right now. It's called positivists. That's positivism. It's the idea that man can posit law, that man can make law. He doesn't have to reflect the laws that are given to him by his creator. He can make them from nothing. And positivists are dangerous. They are really dangerous because they are a law unto themselves. That's what we have with the Supreme Court. And the question is that what we would have with Donald Trump if he is not publicly acknowledging that our rights come from God? That would, if he doesn't acknowledge that and understand it, that makes him a threat to us. I'll be back with a little bit more.